We know you guys have a lot of questions about the weather tomorrow, and we know that when the weather gets bad across the state, there's an entire team of people who come together to make decisions. One of those people on that team, Andrea, you and I know him because we see him at all the press conferences.
It's rare I get to say to somebody, I see you on TV all the time. So that's what I said to John Q from National Weather Service, and y'all heard us say yesterday, National Weather Service is going out to investigate. We can't say here at WLTX that there's a tornado until you officially say there was a tornado. Explain to our viewers what that process is like.
Sure, we go and we actually conduct storm surveys to determine, one, if it was a tornado that touched down, or was it straight line winds. And once we determine that the damage is consistent with what we would see with a tornado, then we have to determine how strong it was, and by that we look at the extent of the damage. And then and then after that we have to also determine how long the track length was, how long it was on the ground for, and how wide the width of the tornado was. So it's a lot of work on the ground, looking at damage, investigating structures and trees, and seeing the types of damage, and then from that we can make our assessment.
So Everett Afonte is a WLTX meteorologist. We like to refer to you as the state of South Carolina's meteorologist. You carry a lot of responsibility with that every day. Talk to me a little bit about the decision-making process when you're standing there shoulder to shoulder with the governor about whether or not we're closing counties and closing roads, whether it's because of a tornado, the threat of severe weather with a tornado, or the threat of winter weather. Talk to us about that process, because I know it can't be easy to make those decisions.
Sure. The National Weather Service, we're a federal agency. We have a great team of meteorologists working in offices. We have 4 offices that actually serve the state. But I have the privilege of going and working with our partners at State Emergency Management and County Emergency Managers. And we never make the decisions. We provide the information to help influence and allow them to make those decisions. So it's really an honor to be able to work with them and know that we're able to help out our partners at state and county and local government by making decisions that really impact everybody.
Let me ask you this, John, because we're looking at Bamberg, and we were just looking at Bamberg. We all saw that. This is the first thing I said to you when we sat down. We all saw the video of the surveillance video. It looks to me like we're looking right in the middle of a tornado. What did your investigation tell you about what happened in downtown Bamberg? Sure.
So we pretty much almost completed our assessment by the time we saw that video. And you definitely could see the damage right there. And we had the tornado pretty much going right through, I believe it's Main Highway right there. Yes. So that was very likely the tornado that we were seeing, and the strong winds and heavy rain associated with that tornado.
All right, we heard from Walker Lawson earlier in Friends at 5 today, and we saw that house on Lake Murray with the damage, intense structural damage to the side of the house. And you said you believe that might have been a water spout.
Yeah, we believe it might have formed just on the southern end of Lake Murray or over Lake Murray. We actually got some reports of damage right at the southern edge, right at the shore. Moved over the lake, and we consider that a water spout when it's over the water. And then it came back onshore along the northern part of Lake Murray right there in Chapin and produced some of that damage. And that path length was a little bit over 3.25 miles long from I believe where it started to where it ended.
It lasted for 3 miles. Wow, that's
incredible.
And
water spouts are not uncommon, especially not when you talk about those springtime thunderstorms that pick up out of nowhere, springtime and summertime.
Yeah, so there's different kind of water spouts, believe it or not. If you go to the coast, a lot of times you'll see pictures of the water spouts. Yeah. You don't need thunderstorms to cause those. Typically, those are very slow moving, and they can cause damage, but it's easy to move around. These kind of water spouts are very similar to what we get in tornadoes, where it's an actual storm system moving through that produces that funnel that reaches, the water. So it's a water spout, and over land it becomes a tornado.
I think our viewers are probably interested in how you come up with the information necessary in order for school districts and counties to make decisions to close. Because, like you said, you come up with the information. It's the counties and the school districts that make the decision.
Sure. So the key thing for us is understanding their thresholds. What's their criteria? We know for buses, for example, have difficulty running when gusts get over 40 miles an hour. So we know those critical thresholds, and we try to advise once those thresholds are going to be met, so they can make the decision whether or not they maybe need an early release or to cancel for the day. So that's really how we work with them. It's building those relationships throughout the year, understanding the needs of our partners, and then basing our tailoring our forecast to meet their needs.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people knew that. And as a parent and as a journalist, I did know this, but a lot of people don't know that school buses cannot operate when winds are over 30 miles per hour. And so when that is possible, you have to call schools out.
Yeah, it's a concern for any high-profile vehicle. Having the stronger winds is always a concern. So knowing that, we really try to make sure that we give them really good timing information, and we try to convey confidence. There's certain times that it's a little bit more marginal. Maybe we're not quite as confident. Other times, like Tuesday, we were very confident. We almost knew a week out we were going to have high winds on Tuesday. So it's much easier to convey that. Yeah.
Here's the good news, guys. John Q is sticking around with us. So if you have a weather question for him, you can always shoot us a text message. Same number, 776-9508. But we're going to be getting some viewer questions, then asking you a little bit more in the second half.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Stay with us.